Firefighting in Canada this week is brought to you by VFIS of Canada, a division of CVIS Incorporated, Canada's largest insurer of firefighters. In this edition, the Calgary Fire Department resurrected a second medical response unit in one of its busiest stations. And Nova Scotia launched a new mental health support for volunteers. Then, Labour Relations lands in Toronto with the annual OAFC and Hicks Morley seminar. The Calgary Fire Department has re-established a second medical response unit to help manage their increase in medical calls. Each medical response unit is staffed with 2 firefighters who stay with the patient until paramedics arrive. One unit was reinstated last year and responded to almost 6,000 calls, making it the busiest unit in all of the department's fleet. Both medical response units are SUVs that will only respond to medical calls, freeing up engines and heavy apparatus to respond to other emergencies. Fire Chief Steve Dongworth said the reason his department brought back 2 units was due to the rise in medical calls in the downtown core, specifically opioids, which were 45% higher than the previous year.
Bringing the one on last year, if we hadn't brought it on, we'd have seen a decline in response performance without a doubt because of the growth in call volume. And it's tougher to meet your performance targets if you've got less units available at any time. We actually saw a very slight improvement in response performance across the city last year, which was great. And we are hoping that this second one with this year will keep us on that track where we see a slight improvement in performance because of it being in service as opposed to perhaps a decline.
Calgary Fire responded to 52,000 medical calls in 2023, up 18% compared to 2022. Medical calls represent more than 55% of the department's total 2023 annual call volume, and they make up more than all other types of calls combined. The city anticipates these medical response units will collectively respond to about 10,000 calls in 2024. Volunteer firefighters and members of ground search and rescue teams in Nova Scotia can now access new mental health supports anytime at no cost. The Nova Scotia Firefighter and Ground Search and Rescue Volunteer Assistance Program gives these first responders and their families access to a range of health and wellness services. The program includes mental health counseling from mental health clinicians, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in person, by phone, or online. Volunteer first responders can also access PSPNet, a free online service that provides mental health and well-being support to public safety personnel. The service is part of a 2-year pilot program that will help the government better understand the mental health needs of volunteer firefighters and ground search and rescue teams. Nova Scotia is investing $75,000 over 2 years for the program, which was announced in November. The Ontario Association of Fire Chiefs and Hicks Morley law firm hosted their annual Labour Relations seminar from January 23rd to 25th in Toronto. Bargaining trends included more 24-hour shifts, increased funds for mental health support, and further seeking of police and fire parity. Other topics discussed were subtle acts of exclusions, responding to bullying and human rights allegations, WSIB and PTSD, media training for fire chiefs, and a panel on service levels. Ottawa Fire Chief Paul Hutt was awarded Fire Chief of the Year. The 2025 Hicks Morley Labour Relations Seminar will be held from January 21st to 25th in Toronto. Thanks again to VFIS of Canada, a division of CVIS Incorporated, Canada's largest insurer of firefighters. Stay tuned for our next episode on Friday, March 1st.